Hello everyone and welcome to another devlog episode. In this video, I'd like to work on the art style of this game because this cafe is looking pretty bland, but hopefully we can change that today, starting with the floors. For now, I'm just going to add a nice wooden floor, and to do that, I'll just create a script to plop down some woody colored squares and hope it looks good. Alright, here goes the first test. Ooh, that is definitely not what I had in mind. That is a lot of pink. Even the customer is overwhelmed and too scared to go in. It's okay, I'd be scared to go in too. Oh. Okay, guess that was too much for them. So going back to the code, I realized I switched the blue and green values, which definitely did not result in a woody color. Let's try that again. Well, now it looks like the cafe's on fire. Alright, I'm gonna try to tweak some things until we get something good. Alright, that was kind of fun, but I finally settled on this. I think these colors are woody and just have the right amount of variation. What I ended up doing was just choosing a color that was similar to oak wood, and for each square I randomly darken it or brighten it. There's also a slight variation in hue, just for some randomness. But now it's time to make these into planks. And that looks so much better. And really all I did was change the dimensions of the squares to be more plank-like. I am starting to realize that this is leading to some art inconsistencies, like this plain colored floor does not look right next to that really detailed wood. Now since the rest of the game has minimal texture, I thought I'd just remove the texture from the counters and then just make it a solid color. So I just started mucking about trying to change this to a color that looks good, and I think I got one. I don't think it looks as good as it did before, but it definitely matches the art style better. And now I want to turn my attention to this grass. This is just a free asset by Unity, just like that wood texture I had before, but from this height I just don't think it looks that great, so I'm going to replace it with some pictures I took myself. So I just started spreading these 3 grass pictures around and mixing them so you can't tell they tile and repeat. And somehow this turned out way better than I expected. I didn't even really do any heavy processing on the images because I didn't really know how, but it still changes the mood of the cafe so much that this gray walkway finally looks out of place. I mean, it really should have from the beginning, but now it really looks out of place. And so does the door. I'll definitely need to come back and change those too. Perhaps I can take real pictures and put it on those things to make it look good too. So switching gears here, I wanted to address some feedback that I got while playtesting. So players kept getting confused between the top bun and the bottom bun, and that makes total sense because they look so similar to each other. So to fix this, I'm going to add some sesame seeds to the top bun. That should hopefully be pretty simple. I've probably just come across some of the weirdest bugs I've seen in a long time. So when I added the detail maps to the top buns, everything became harshly shaded like this, and while trying to fix this, I somehow made it way worse, and now the sides of the boxes look like this. Absolutely crazy looking. Oh yeah, that's how you know you did the lighting wrong. So that was a really weird issue. It turns out it was caused by reading in normal maps at runtime. Now the normal map is just an image where the lighting data is contained in the colors. So it's pretty important that that color is exactly how it is in the file. However, unfortunately, I did not realize that Unity was applying a color space conversion to it, which changed the entire color of the image, which changed the data, which really messed with the lighting. And this all resulted in that harsh shading we saw earlier. And the weird box shading is actually the result of me trying to fix that and just making things worse. Let's pretend that didn't happen. So anyways, we got that to work, and now we have a dusting of sesame seeds on the top bun. While the sesame seeds aren't as visible as I would hope they would be from up above, I think it still distinguishes it from the bottom bun. Continuing on this item detailing spree, I want to look at the meat now. So players actually thought this was tomato, and that again makes sense because it doesn't have any texture to make it look like meat. So I'm gonna try to whip up a texture to fix that. And that's already done. It kind of just happened too because I was playing around with some brush settings, and by the time I got a brush I liked, I was already painting this on the canvas. So it all just kind of fell into place again, and I think it looks good. So that seems like it's becoming a theme of this devlog. Just trying something random, somehow working out well, and then just wondering how that happened. So with these changes, I think the game is looking so much better now. But now we have more art style inconsistencies. I was going for a more plain style with no textures, but now with the new grass, the meat texture, and the top bun, sesame seeds, everything's just becoming more textured now. So I've been rethinking it all, and I think the best thing to do is to add textures back to everything and go that route with the art style. I was hesitant to do this at first because I wasn't really confident that I could make make high quality textures, especially when adding new content into the game, but oh, it just looks so good with textures. So even though I don't think I'm great at making textures, I still think in the end it'll look better than plain colors. So now I just need to add that wood texture back to the counters and add it to the floors. I know it feels like we might be going backwards a bit, but I'm glad I get to feel out the art style and finally settle on a good one. And I think this is the art style that's really going to hold up long term. And so I just added the wood texture back to the counters and to the floors, and I think it's looking good. I also did take a real picture of a sidewalk, and I put it on the walkway that the customers used to get to the door. Again, somehow that looks really good, and I don't know how. So now the only thing that really looks out of place is the lettuce. Oh, and maybe the door. So it's time to get modeling. So a lot has ended up changing. I was trying to make a lettuce texture from scratch and I accidentally made this cool texture, so I ended up putting it on the walls. I also ended up just taking a picture of lettuce and putting it on the lettuce model. I also modeled this door after business doors I had seen where they have the bar that you push in and 2 windows. Another random thing I did was added an icon to the button that hovers above customers' heads when they want to order. I'm not a big fan of it, so I'll probably revisit this later and make sketches. Also, I realized at this point that the blue might be a little high. It probably shouldn't color the counters behind the bubble green. Now that we updated pretty much everything, I think it's time to move on to other things. And personally, I don't think the cheese needs to be changed at all. So I've been working on a bunch of random improvements, one of them being pathfinding. So I made the customers and the manager slow down when they make turns, and this is so the rotation speed can be a bit slower. Before it had to be really high so they could make the corners because they didn't slow down, but now they can kind of glide around corners and it just feels so much more natural and it gives them a bit of personality too. I also need to return to the build mode because there is so much to do here. An important feature that was missing was being able to move the takeout and order counters, so I finally fixed that, kind of. It's kind of become this fun game to move the counters where you want them, because if you remove the takeout counter, it'll just choose the counter that's closest nearby to become the new takeout counter, and it'll flash red to show that it's the new takeout counter. And the same thing happens with the order counter, except it's blue. So for example, the center counter here is the takeout counter, and if I remove it, it'll move to the left, because that's the closest counter that can also be a takeout counter. So you kind of have to play with it to get it where you want, which is definitely not going to be in the final game, so I will definitely return to this in the future, but for now it's a fun game and it works. Also, while doing this, I finished a lot of back-end stuff that was pretty important. Later, I want to add an icon above the takeout and order counters that you can drag around to move them, but that's for later. I still need to think about what I want that to look like. Instead, let's go ahead and look at some more build mode bugs. It turns out there's so many ways you can doom yourself by pressing that continue button. Like it turns out you can place counters down where the manager spawns, and she does not like that. She really does not like that. And neither do the customers. So I'm gonna go fix this before anyone else gets hurt. Before the manager spawns, we'll just check what tiles are open and move her to an open space. Additionally, we'll have to make sure that where she spawns, she can pathfind to the door, just so she doesn't get stuck. Because currently you can do things like this, and it seems to give the manager a panic attack. And the manager isn't the only one who loses it here. I'm not sure what this customer is trying to do over here. I guess they're just having fun over there. Anyways, I'm off to go fix this. So here, the manager was supposed to spawn where that cheese basket is, but instead she gets placed outside the wall of counters, where she can still access the door. And here she would have spawned in the center of all those counters, but instead she spawns on the outside. But now it's time to turn my attention to these two troublemakers. It turns out you can play the game with these counters removed or completely blocked off. So what I did was just disable the continue button if either of those things happen. It's kind of weird for now that the button just grays out, and I'll definitely add an indicator of why it's grayed out later, but for now, I like it. And with that, let's switch to something that's a bit more important. Now, in many building games, before you buy something, the object will flash white and be a bit transparent, and this just helps you see exactly where you're going to place the object and what it'll look like. I want to add something like that to this game so it helps players know exactly where the object they're buying is going to go. So, I made a little prototype, so let's see how it plays out. Oh yeah, that's way too bright. So that was just me being silly. It turns out I was increasing the color, but never decreasing it, and when that happens, the bloom kind of takes over. So anyways, after a few tweaks, let's try it again. Well, better. Okay, this one is really fun, but still not right. Alright, so I got it working. While it's in this ghost state, you can rotate it, and then when you finally want to place it, just click to place it down, and it'll pop into existence. Because that's how furniture shopping works. You can also place items down right on the counter, and they will glow as well. Or if you hover over a place where it needs a counter, then it'll have a ghost counter there too. Before we end the video, I made one change that I'm pretty excited about. So I'm going to force the game to make this oven takeout counter, and when that happens, you now have 4 places that customers can take orders from. So now if you made another order and the first one wasn't taken by a customer yet, you can still put it down. You don't have to wait to put the new order down. I guess you could call this the takeout oven. Later we'll have counters that you can put 4 things down on, and it'll be like an upgrade. This feature sure will get interesting when the cafe gets really busy. But for now, that's all I have. I will still devlog in the future, so if you like this video, consider subscribing and giving it a like. If you have any suggestions, please drop them in the comments. I'd love to read them. See y'all next time. Bye!